from the Department of English, and today we are going to discuss conservation of natural resources. And in that, there is a small poem by Giv Patel, and the title of the poem is On Killing a Tree. So today we will be analyzing that particular poem, and we will be going back into the theoretical aspects of conservation of natural resources in our next class, which is scheduled on Wednesday. Okay, and I hope all of you might have got the PDF of the textbooks in your WhatsApp. You can look into that, or you can look into the screen. And I also request you to keep a notebook with you, and you can write down the lecture notes. It will be helpful when you study it again. Okay, so on the screen you can see Giv Patel, and he is not only a poet, he's an Indian poet. That is very much important. He's a playwright. What do you mean by playwright? Yes, Abhirami, you have raised your hand. What is it? Any issues? May I continue? So one thing I would like to point out right at the beginning is that if you have any queries, kindly type it in the Q&A section. Again, you have the chat box with you. I think it would be better if you can type your questions in the Q&A section, because all of you are typing your attendance in the chat box. So there is a chance that I may not see your query. So if you have any queries, kindly type it in the Q&A section. And I hope I am clear to you. If you feel any discomfort, or if you feel any issues in between, kindly inform me, and you are always have the freedom to clear your doubts. So don't wait for the last moment to clear your doubts. If you have any queries, kindly type it in the Q&A section. Okay, so shall we start? So this is Giv Patel, and he is an Indian poet, playwright. What do you mean by playwright? Playwright means dramatist, a person who writes dramas or plays. And he's a painter as well as a practicing physician. So he's a doctor. Then another thing is that he's an environmentalist too. He's a person who gives too much importance to issues connected with our environment. Okay, then this man belongs to a group of writers who are or who are involved in a movement called Green Movement, and their main purpose is to protect the environment. And his poems speak of the deep concerns he has for nature, and through his poems he also exposes man's cruelty to nature. And his works include poems like How Do You Withstand, which was published in 1966, Body in the year 1976, and Mirrored Mirroring, which was published in 1991. And now we are going to analyze the poem On Killing a Tree. So before going into the poem, let me ask you, are you familiar with the term killing and its association with a tree? Usually we use the term killing in order to refer to the death of a human being who might have been murdered by someone, isn't it? But here, Giv Patel uses the term killing in order to refer to the destruction or the cutting down of a tree. So what would be his intention behind it? So let us see what he intends through the usage of such a term, on killing a tree. So what is the meaning of killing? So when we use the term killing, it means complete destruction of an object's existence, isn't it? Or wiping out something from the earth. ഭൂമിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഉന്മൂലനം ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥത്തിലാണ് the word killing is being used. So when he uses the word killing, it means complete destruction of an object's existence, or wiping out something from the earth's surface. So let us see what he is trying to convey through his poem. And before moving into the poem, I'd like to speak about the structure of this poem. Structure means how it is being formatted. So the poem contains 4 stanzas. Okay, and we'll be analyzing each and every stanza. And if you have any doubts, definitely you can ask me. And when it comes to killing, I told you that usually that term is used to refer to the death of a human being who might have been murdered by somebody else. But here it is being associated with a tree. So here the tree is treated as a human being. So such a device is called personification. For example, if I use, usually we use terms like happiness, sadness, etc. in order to refer to human predicaments or human moods and emotions. But if I say that my doll is happy, what is it actually? I am attributing a quality of a human being to the doll. So that figure of speech is called personification. Is it clear? So here the word killing, it is being used or with the intention of treating the tree as a human being. So it can be seen as an example of personification. Okay, so right at the beginning, the poet reminds us that just like all other living things on this earth, the tree too is a living thing, and it is just like a human being. Or when we try to cut down a tree or when we try to destroy a tree, we have to understand that it is just another life form, and it is very, very important for us to sustain on this planet. So let us see what he is trying to convey, and you have to tell me how apt is this title for this poem at the end of the section. Okay, so he tells us, it takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. So what it's all about? So right at the beginning, the poet tells us that it takes much time to kill a tree. So to kill a tree or to murder a tree, it is not something easy. We have to put in so much effort and time. See, and not a simple jab of the knife will do it. So when we see the first line, we will get the impression that, yeah, the poet is trying to instruct us to kill a tree. Let us see whether he is instructing us to kill a tree, or is it the vice versa, or is it the opposite that he intends. Let us see. It takes much time to kill a tree means it is not easy to kill a tree at once. It takes time and effort. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. What do you mean by simple jab? Simple jab means a quick stab. It is not enough to kill a tree. Sometimes with a simple jab, you can kill a human being. Means with a quick stab, you can kill a human being, but it is not easy to destroy a tree. Means will do it. Means will do it means will do what? Will not kill a tree. A simple jab is not enough to kill a tree. It might kill a human being, but it is not enough to kill a tree. Simple jab means a quick stab or a sudden rough blow is called a jab. Okay. It has grown. So now he tells us the reason why it is not so easy to kill a tree with a simple jab. What is the reason? It has grown slowly, consuming the earth. So he tells us that a tree or a plant grows into a tree. The process happens only very slowly. It is a gradual process. And how does it happen? When a plant grows into a tree, several processes are involved in it. So it will be consuming the earth. What do you mean by consuming the earth? Means the plant draws in nutrients and water from the earth, and it will be rising out of it. We know that a plant grows out of the earth and it will be feeding upon its crust. What do you mean by crust? The upper layer of the earth, which is solid and hard. So a plant grows on the crust of the earth and it consumes earth, means it absorbs nutrients and water from the earth, and at the same time it absorbs years of sunlight. It is not just sunlight. The tree has been absorbing years of sunlight, air and water in order to grow into its tremendous size. and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. What do you mean by leprous hide? Leprous hide means the discolored bark of the tree. What do you mean by bark? Bark എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ എന്താണ്? The exterior covering of the trunk. What do you mean by trunk? The main wood of the tree, the main branch of the tree is called the trunk. And you might have noticed in the case of a small shrub, the stem will be green in color. But in the case of a tree, the trunk will be brownish in color, isn't it? So here the poet uses the word leprous. Leprous means who is a leper? A person who is inflicted with leprosy, isn't it? It is a sort of illness. Kushtarogam nu nammal Malayalattil parayum. So just like that, when he sees the hide of the tree or when he sees the bark of the tree, the poet feels that the tree is suffering from leprosy, just like human beings. So it is also another example of personification. Okay, the leprous hide, the hide of the tree or the bark of the tree is leprous. It appears to be leprous. It appears to be inflicted with leprosy, or it appears to be infected with some disease. But at the same time, we can see leaves sprouting out of it. Means, what do you mean by sprouting? Means a new growth of plant is coming out of it. Even when the hide appears to be not so attractive, even when the bark of the tree appears to be uneven, we can see leaves sprouting out of it. Is it clear, children? So right at the beginning, the poet tells us that it is not something easy to kill a tree, and a simple jab. A simple jab means a quick stab with the knife is not enough to bring an end to a tree. Why? He gives us a reason. Because for a plant to grow into a tree, it is something that requires enough time. And in doing that, the plant will be consuming the earth, means it will be absorbing the nutrients and water from the earth, and it will be rising from the earth, and it will be standing firm on the crust of the earth by absorbing years of sunlight and air. And when we observe closely, we can see that the trunk of the tree is brownish, and it has a discolored appearance, and the hide, the bark, appears to be inflicted with leprosy, just like human beings. But even then, we can see new leaves sprouting out of it. So that sprouting leaves, all these suggest the life activities that are going on inside that plant. Okay, so is the first answer clear to you? So in the first answer, the poet reminds us, who are us? Us refers to the readers, that just like us, or just like human beings, the trees also are living things. So if you want to kill a tree, it is not something easy. You have to put in so much effort, and a tree doesn't die just by jabbing it. Why? Because the growth of that tree is a slow process, and it has absorbed so much nutrients, water, and years of sunlight and air in order to grow into its enormous size. And the leprous hide, though the hide appears to be leprous, though the hide appears to be darkened in color, you can see leaves sprouting out of it. So the leaves sprouting out of it suggests that life activity is still going on in the tree, even though it has become so old. Okay. Now, can I move on to the next answer? Is it clear? പറയുന്നത് മനസ്സിലാകുന്നുണ്ടോ? Clear ആണോ? Am I clear, children? Can I continue? Yes. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand again to former size. So what is it? The next answer he tells us, see, if you want to destroy a tree, just hack and chop it, but this alone won't do it. The first answer, he tells us that a simple jab of the knife is not enough to destroy a tree. So in the next answer, he tells us to hack and chop it. Excuse me 1 minute, children. So what do you mean by hack? Hack means to cut down in a rough manner. So now the poet asks the readers, if they want to destroy a tree, a simple jab is not enough. So go on to the next level. What is it? Hacking. Hack means cut down in a rough manner. Then you have to chop it. Chop means to blow with an axe. കോടാലി കൊണ്ട് വെട്ടുന്നതിനെയാണ് chop എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So now just a jab is not enough. So you can now go to the next level, that is hacking and chopping. Hacking means cutting down in a rough manner. Even if you hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Do what? It won't kill a tree. Even if you hack and chop a tree, it won't kill a tree. Then not so much pain will do it, see. But when you hack and chop, definitely it will inflict pain on the tree, because just like human beings, a tree is also a living thing. So it will inflict some pain on the tree, but the tree is so strong, and because of its strength, it will be able to recover from that wound. It will be able to withstand that pain. Okay, so hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. If you want to destroy a tree, you have to go to the next level other than simple jabbing. So what is the next level? Hacking and chopping. But even that is not enough according to the poet. But he tells us that, but there is one thing: when you hack and chop, definitely it will inflict pain on the tree, but as the tree is very strong, it will be able to bear that pain. Then the bleeding bark will heal. Means with the passage of time, what will happen? The wound that was made on the tree by hacking and chopping, it will heal. And once when you hack and chop, the bark of the tree will bleed, just like human beings bleed blood when a cut is being made on their skin. In the case of the tree too, it bleeds, but here it is the sap that comes out of it. What do you mean by sap? Sap means the juice of plants, that fluid which contains all the nutrients that is essential for a plant. So just like blood that bleeds, in the case of a tree, when you hack and chop it, what will happen? That sap will bleed, and with the passage of time, it will heal, because as I told you, the tree is very strong, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. And with the passage of time, you can see that from close to the ground means from close to the earth, new green twigs will come, and the green twigs will be curled. I mean, what do you mean by twigs? Twigs means the small thin branch of a tree or a bush. The thin branches are called twigs, and miniature boughs also will come out. What do you mean by boughs? Boughs means the firm branch of a tree. So you can see that with the passage of time, the wound will heal, and twigs and boughs will rise from the tree again. And the miniature is being described as miniature boughs. Why miniature boughs? What do you mean by miniature? A small version of something. See, when you visit some historical places and all, you can see miniature versions of the same be sold in the nearby stalls or shops, isn't it? For example, you might have a small copy of the Taj Mahal, or some of the great wonders of the world, or Leaning Tower of Pisa, or something like that in your home. Well, what does it show? It is a miniature form of that art form. So just like that, once when the original boughs are being hacked and chopped, you can see miniature boughs coming out. What do you mean by miniature boughs? The boughs, they are really strong, but it may not have the same size as the boughs that were cut and hacked and chopped by us. Okay, which if unchecked will expand again to former size. So what will happen? So green twigs and small branches will grow again on the tree, and consequently the tree will grow its full size again as it was before being cut or killed. So from that, it is clear that it is not easy to kill a tree. Is it clear? So in the next stanza or the second stanza, the poet tells us that if you want to destroy a tree, you can try hacking and chopping it. But again, you will realize that it alone is not enough to kill a tree, because but one thing is there, it will inflict pain on the tree and the barks will bleed just like humans bleed blood. In the case of the tree, the barks will be bleeding with sap, but with the passage of time, the wound will be healed and you can see green twigs and small branches growing again on the tree. And if it is left unchecked, you can see that the tree will be grown back into its formal size. From the two stanzas, we can realize that it is not something easy to kill a tree. Is it clear? So now take 2 minutes to read the two stanzas and check whether you have understood everything. Just take 2 minutes. Is it clear, children? Screen കാണുന്നില്ല. Oh. Now can you see the screen, children? Now can you see? Now can you see? Yes, miss. So okay. So ആദ്യം തൊട്ടേ നിങ്ങൾ കാണുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ലേ? അതോ ഇപ്പോഴാണോ പോയത്? Yes, miss. Okay, thank you all. Thank you all. Okay. So were you able to follow the first two stanzas? Can I continue or do you want me to repeat again? If you want me to repeat, I will definitely repeat. I have no issues with that. Or is it clear? Can I move on? Okay. Okay, children. Yeah. So now let us go to the third stanza. See, in the third stanza, it begins by telling no. What is no? See, if you want to really kill a tree, these tricks won't work. Which are the 3 tricks that he suggested? Simple jab, then hacking, then chopping. So these things won't work. So now he gives us the exact manner by which a tree can be killed. So the entire poem appears as if we are reading a kind of instruction manual as to how to kill a tree. Isn't it? See, when you buy things, an instruction manual will be given along with it, instructing you how to use it, isn't it? Just like that, it appears that the poet is instructing us as to how to kill a tree step by step, isn't it? So let us see what he is trying to convey. No, the root is to be pulled out. See, if you really want to kill a tree, what should you do? You have to pull out its root. From where? Out of the anchoring earth. So you might have seen the word anchor being used along with boats and ships, because it is a ship or a boat that anchor. So what do you mean by anchor? Anchor means here in the case of the trees, it means that trees are held securely with the help of roots. Is it clear? See, out of the anchoring earth. Anchoring earth means the trees are held securely with the help of the roots. Okay. The root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. Means if you want to bring an end to a tree, or if you really want to destroy your tree, you have to pull out the entire tree from the earth into which it is anchoring. Means it is the earth that, or sorry, it is the root that helps the tree to anchor properly or to stand firmly and erectly on the ground. So now he tells us what are the things to be done in order to pull out the root. He tells us it is to be robbed. Means you have to tie it with a rope. Then you have to rope. Tied means to take a rope, tie it, and pull out means you have to pull it out. See, the next word that is being used, snapped out, means just pulling won't work. You have to snap it out. What do you mean by snap it out? പിടിച്ച് പറിച്ചെടുക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുക. Snap it out. Snap means you have to use force. You have to, snap actually means the sudden release of something held under pressure. So we know that the roots are firmly rooted to the soil, and you have to give so much pressure and force in order to pull it out or pulled out entirely. See, when you snap it out, you have to pull the entire thing out of the earth, out from the earth cave. So from where is it the root pulled out? From the cave of the earth. What does the term earth cave suggest? It suggests that the root of the tree is situated deep into the earth. Is it clear? See, the root is to be pulled out, means in order to kill a tree, jabbing, then hacking and chopping won't do. You have to pull out the root, and from where? From the earth into which it has anchored, means the tree uses its root in order to firmly stand on the ground, means the trees are held securely with the help of the roots. And in order to pull out this root, what should you do? You have to take a rope, you have to tie it, and you have to pull it out. But then he uses the word snapped out, means just pulling won't work. You have to use force and pressure in order to pull it out from the cave of the earth. Why cave? Because the roots go deep into the surface of the earth, and so you have to apply so much pressure and force in order to pull it out entirely, and then you can see the strength of the tree exposed. So what does it mean? The strength of the tree lies in its roots. So when you see the uprooted root, you can understand the strength of the tree. Only then the strength of the tree will be exposed. And he also gives us a description of the roots. How will it look like? The source, white and wet. So the roots will be white in color. At the same time, it will be wet. Wet means it will be damp. We can always see that the roots will be wet. If it is not wet, it means that the plant is dead. ഉണങ്ങിയ പ്ലാന്റ് ആണെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ റൂട്ട് വെറ്റായിരിക്കില്ല. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് എ ലൈവ് പ്ലാന്റ്, ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി ദ റൂട്ട്സ് വിൽ ബി വെറ്റ് ഓർ ഡാംപ്. ആൻഡ് ദ പോയറ്റ് ടെൽസ് us that it is the most sensitive part of a plant, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. See, this root, which is white and wet, and it is the most sensitive part of a plant, and it has been hidden inside the earth for years. Can you see the root of a plant by looking at a tree? വെറുതെ ഒരു ട്രീയിൽ ചെന്ന് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ will we be able to see the root? No, we can see the root of a plant only when it is being uprooted. And we know that it will be white in color, it will be wet, and it is the most sensitive part of a plant because it is that which enables the plant to absorb nutrients and water from the soil, and it is that which keeps the plant anchored on the earth. Is it clear? So the roots are really important. It is the root that helps the plant to stay alive. So if you want to kill a tree, what should you do? You have to uproot it from the root itself. Only then you will be able to kill a tree completely. So the poem was titled On Killing a Tree. Now, after analyzing the three stanzas, we may feel that, is the poet instructing us to kill a tree? Is this his real intention? Let us see. See, then the matter of scorching and chalking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. See, now he comes to the last stanza, the fourth stanza. See, in the fourth stanza, and see, when compared to the other stanzas, the fourth stanza is too short, isn't it? See, and in the last stanza, he tells us, then the matter. What is this matter he referred to here? What is that matter? The matter refers to the root that is being uprooted. So the root that was lying hidden inside the earth, the root which is the most sensitive part of the tree, or the root which was white and wet, which was hidden inside the earth for years, now it is exposed to sun and air. It is lying exposed, and because of that, what happened to it? Of scorching and choking. What do you mean by scorching? Scorching, at times we use that word to refer to the scorching heat. Scorching means our surface will burn because of being exposed to sun and air. Scorch, it scorches. Scorch means the surface will burn. And choking, what do you mean by choking? Choking means unable to breathe because of obstruction in the windpipe. Usually it is we human beings who choke, but here that human attribute is given to that tree just to make us realize that just like us, the tree too experience pain, scorching, choking, bleeding, etc. Isn't it? So these are the terms that are usually referred to, or these are the terms that we usually refer when we talk about human beings. But here, words like scorching, choking, bleeding, etc., then sensitive, all these are used to refer to the tree too. And thereby, the poet is making us realize that just like us, the plants too are living things and we need to protect it. See, so come, let us see the final stanza. Then the matter means the root that is being uprooted. And how did we uproot it? By tying a rope with it and by pulling it out. We didn't just pull it out, we just snapped it out from the depths of the earth. Now it is exposed to sun and air, and as a result, its surface is burned and it is choking. It is choking means it cannot breathe anymore. Why? Because it is being uprooted. All its connections, all the vital connections it had with the earth is lost, and now it has started to become brown. So the root which was white in color, now it being exposed to sun and air, it had started to become brownish. It has hardened. Earlier we were told that it was wet. Now because of the loss of water content in it, it is hardening and it is withering. Withering means it is decaying and it is twisting. It is losing its shape, and the trunk and the root has now become brown. It has hardened. It has started to decay, and it has even started to twist. And then it is done. And finally, it is done. What is done? Killing a tree is complete. See, so now when we read the poem, if we feel that the poet is giving us a step-by-step instruction as to how to kill a tree. Is he advocating all of us to kill a tree, or is he making us realize the importance of conserving a tree? What is he doing? The poet, he is sensitizing us for the need of conserving our environment, especially trees. Why? Because our very existence on this planet depends on what? Depends on trees. And we human beings tend to forget that. We don't realize how important are trees in our life. And the poet, through this poem, what is he doing? He is exposing man's cruelty to nature. Then he also is speaking about his deep concerns about nature and environment, and also about man's evil habits of like cutting down trees or deforestation for selfish motives. Okay, so again, we can see that when we go through the poem, as I told you, we feel that the poet is giving us a step-by-step instruction as to how to kill a tree. But it is actually irony. What do you mean by irony? For example, if somebody asks you, how are these students? They are very regular in class. They study their daily lessons. They do their homework. എന്നൊക്കെ ഞാൻ ചിലപ്പോൾ പറയും. അപ്പം ഒന്നുകിൽ അത് പോസിറ്റീവ് സെൻസിലായിരിക്കും. ചിലപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ഈ പറയുന്നത് ഇതൊന്നും കറക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാത്ത ഒരാളെ കുറിച്ചിട്ടാണെങ്കിലോ then it becomes ironical. Did you get it? See, for example, how is Mr. Tony in class? He is a studious student. He does all his homework and he is very punctual. But Tony knows that he is never punctual. He never does his homework. It is irony. Our device is irony. So just like that, here the poet is using irony in describing the process which is involved in cutting down a tree, and thereby what is he doing? He is criticizing the attitude of the human beings towards nature, and he is also pleading us to be sensitive towards nature, because when we chop down trees, we are insensitive to nature and we are doing all these for our material benefit. So he reminds us that we need to plant more and more trees. So on World Environment Day, all of you might have planted a tree. What is the purpose behind it? The purpose is to conserve our environment and nature, because we know that unless and until we preserve our nature, we cannot survive here, because throughout the world we are seeing signs of global warming. Now you might have read in the papers, even the coldest country like Siberia, now the ice is melting, and because of global warming the temperature is rising. So what will happen to our existence if things are going on like this? So even in Kerala, this is a month where we are supposed to get the monsoon rains, but I think for the past few days there is no sign of rain anywhere around. So the entire climate is being changed. All these are due to man's reckless attitude towards nature, and he wants us to plant more and more trees. And at the same time, another thing that we have to understand is that just like this tree, so we have tried everything we could. We have stabbed it, we have we have just stabbed it. When what are the other things that we did to the tree? We hacked it, we chopped it, and even after doing all these things, the tree was able to withstand everything, and new leaves sprouted on it, isn't it? So it suggests that just like the tree, we too have to be really strong amidst our misfortune. So these are some lessons that we human beings have to learn from the tree. So just like the tree, we too should have the courage and strength of the tree, and we too have to be strong and determined in our efforts despite the failures and misfortunes that we face in life. At the same time, the poet suggests that the sturdiness means the firmness, and the resilience means the mental ability of the trees to recover from, so not trees, the mental ability of a person to recover from something that is unfortunate. Or unfortunate ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യത്തിൽ നിന്ന് നമ്മൾ എത്ര പെട്ടെന്ന് കരകയറുന്നു, അതിനാണ് റെസീലിയൻസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ജസ്റ്റ് ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ് ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടു, the tree despite being jabbed, despite being hacked, despite being chopped, what happened to the tree? It was resilient. It again sprouted leaves. It continued to live unless the roots were uprooted. So just like that, we have to have the sturdiness and resilience of the trees, and we should always face all the misfortunes and failures that comes to us, just like this tree did. Means we have to be really strong and firm in our decisions. Okay, we have to be strong and determined when we face the challenges in life. And another inherent meaning. This surface level meaning. Inherent, just like the tree, we too have to be strong. These are meanings that lies inside the poem. So another inherent meaning can be, in all of us there are some evils, isn't it? So in order to pull out those evils, so we may feel that now we are freed of those evils. Sometimes one of our evils may be procrastinating things. What you may be procrastinating? We will keep on letting of things for another day until and unless we are forced to do it on a particular time, isn't it? We will postpone things. That is a real evil. So exam time exam term I will try to learn my daily lessons, but we won't change. So it is an evil habit. So we believe that but even then we can see that it still lingers with us. So how can we overcome that? So we can overcome that only if we put in our best efforts. So just like killing a tree, in that poem we have seen the different methods that the poet suggests in order to kill a tree. First you jab it, then you hacked it, then you chopped it, then you will realize that the only method by which you can kill a tree is by uprooting it. So the poet suggests that whenever you are into something, whenever you do something, you have to complete it in a good manner. For example, if you are studying this particular poem, or if you are studying some mathematical problems, or if you are studying something related with animal life or plant life, or something related with chemistry, organic chemistry, suppose you take the decision to study a particular chapter, and if you leave it after completing one or two subtopics, it is not something good. So whenever you do something, you have to complete it entirely. That also is another meaning that can be found inside this poem. So these are the several readings that can be given to the poem. So now my question is, how important is the title On Killing Your Tree? So do you think that the title is apt? So what may be the inference? The poet might have used it in a very meaningful manner, and the title is very apt because the poet wants us to realize that trees are helpful and it is essential for our existence. But as human beings, we always ignore the usefulness of plants. We tend to forget that trees are necessary for sustaining life on earth, and in order to fulfill our immediate needs, what will we do? We involve in cutting down the trees, which according to the poet is something similar to a murder. So through this poem, the poet is expressing his protest against this crime of cutting down a tree, or against the crime of deforestation, through this unique ironical criticism. Why ironical? Sorry. The poem appears to be an instruction on how to kill a tree, but here he is using it in an ironical manner because he doesn't want us to cut down our tree. He doesn't want us to destroy or kill a tree. Instead, he wants us all to preserve nature, and he instructs us that we have to preserve nature, or else our own life on this planet will be questioned. And in the poem, we have seen that he gives us so many instructions as how to murder a tree by using the most vigorous and harsh methods. But his intention is clearly not to destroy a tree, but to preserve it. So the poem is somewhat a special one. The tone he uses is somewhat really remarkable because it is based on irony. And when it comes to the structure of the poem, I told you that it has 4 stanzas, and just see whether it has any rhyme scheme or anything. Is there any rhyme scheme? Tree, knife, grown earth, there is no rhyme scheme. So see the length of the lines. Almost the length of the lines are short, but it is irregular. And see the number of lines in each stanza. In the first stanza, there are 9 lines, and in the second stanza also there are 9 lines, and When it comes to the third stanza, there are 11 lines. And when it comes to the fourth stanza, there are only 6 lines. So is there any particular pattern in ordering the stanza? No. So as there is no particular order in ordering the stanzas, we can say that the poem is written in free verse. Free verse means there is no particular order or there is no particular structure in ordering the stanzas and all. So is it clear? So what are the figures of speech that is being used by the poet? The one is personification. What do you mean by personification? Giving human attribute to other living things. So the word killing, bleeding, etc., then sensitive, then twisting, or browning, all this shows that human attributes are being given to choking. All these words suggest that human attributes are given to the tree. Then another thing that you have to notice is enjambment. What do you mean by enjambment? Enjambment means when one sentence continues into 2 or more lines, it is called enjambment. See the line, it takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. So will do it should actually go with the second line, but it is continued into the third line. Such feature is called enjambment. Is it clear? See, so hack and chalk, but this alone won't do it. So the lines, when if checked, will expand again to former size. To former size should actually go with the line that comes before it, but it is being placed as another line. So such feature is called enjambment. Enjambment, E-N-J-A-M-B-M-E-N-T. Enjambment means when one sentence continues into 2 or more lines, it is called enjambment. One sentence it is being followed into the next line. So that feature also can be seen in this particular poem. So is it clear, children? Then another thing that you can notice, the use of alliteration. What do you mean by alliteration? Repetition of the same consonantal sound. അവിടെ നമുക്ക് എവിടെ കാണാമെന്ന് നോക്കിക്കേ, എവിടെയൊക്കെ അടുപ്പിച്ചടുപ്പിച്ച് കോൺസണന്റ് സൗണ്ട്സ് ഒരേപോലത്തെ കോൺസണന്റ് സൗണ്ട്സ് വരുന്നു. You have studied phonetics in your first sem, so you know. See the bleeding bark, boo boo sound is being repeated. So it is an example of alliteration. Okay, then again you can see coming to the third stanza, when he describes about the root, white and wet, wah wah sound is being repeated. Again, another example of alliteration. So such devices are being used by the poet very effectively. And right at the beginning, I told you that Giv Patel is also a painter. And it may be because of that, when he writes a poem, as far as we readers are concerned, we can actually feel, or we can actually see how a tree is being destroyed by jabbing, by then what are the other techniques that he asks us to do, hacking, then chopping, then he asks us to uproot it, not just pull it out but snap it out. So the words that he uses, they are actually picturesque. Picturesque means nammada mumbil aa picture ingane create cheyyunnundu. So the words that he uses effectively convey how a tree is being destroyed by humans for realizing their material needs. Is it clear, children? So are you happy with the class? Do you have any doubt? If you have any doubt, kindly post your queries in the Q&A section. I will definitely answer all your questions. Okay. Okay. Can you see? And some questions are there. Who wrote the poem on killing of trees?